Hi, I'm Louisa with Knit Scene magazine, and today we're going to talk about Intarsia. Intarsia is a colorwork technique that's mostly used when you're making large blocks of color and you don't want to have large floats hanging behind your work like you would have in stranded colorwork. A great example of this technique is this cowl from Knit Scene Accessories 2013. It's Julia Farwell-Clay's Icelandic star cowl, and you can see that the star here is worked in Intarsia. So I'm going to do a demonstration of Intarsia, but want to show you a little background of how I got to my swatch. So I'm going to demonstrate this heart shape, and as you can see from the back, there are no floats behind here going from the green across the blue, and it actually has a very nice kind of stitched look in the background. So this actually came from the Heartgyle sweater, which is from Knit Skiffs 2013, and it's Mari Chiba's design. And as you can see here, she has hearts, and I kind of played around with that just to simplify it into one solid heart. And this is my chart here that I made for myself. I find it easier to work Intarsia if you're working from a chart. Just makes it a lot simpler to keep track of stitches. So anything that's X'd is blue and the rest of my chart is green. So let me show you how this works. With Intarsia, only one strand of yarn is live at a time. So when you're finished with one strand, you're actually going to drop it and pick up your next strand. It's really, really nice to have your yarn on bobbins, especially locking bobbins, and you can buy them or you can make them, as I did here, with some cardboard, and then just cut a little notch in it like that, and you have your locking bobbin, so that when you're not using this particular strand, your yarn's not rolling all over the place. So to get started, I'm going to knit across, and at this point I'm done with my green and I want to switch to my blue. So I'm going to lock my green out so it doesn't roll around, and I'm going to switch to blue. Now what is really, really important here is that you want to make sure your yarns lock. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to show you on the back side. Your new color, the blue, needs to go over the old color, which is your green. So as you can see, they lock like that, so that you don't have any holes. If you don't do that, when you get to this point, you're going to have holes in your work, and while you might want that to be the case, usually you don't. So now that I've locked my yarn, I can continue on with my blue all the way across my swatch of blue. Helps if you actually knit. So then I've come to the end of my blue, and it's time for green again. If you were doing stranded color work, you would be using this same bobbin, but because of this is Intarsia, we have a completely different strand of green. So again, I'm going to lock up my blue, and this is a lot more fluid when you're using it on a bigger piece and not demonstrating. So let out some of my green, and again, show you on the back, neaten this up. New color is going under the old color, so it locks together. And then you just knit across. And this works exactly the same way going back. For my chart, I am knitting the right side and purling the wrong side, so you do the exact same technique going back across. I'll show you the first one just so you can see, but it's quite simple, nothing different. Purling, and then we get to our color change. We're going to lock this out so it doesn't roll around, and then we're going to switch to the blue. Make sure it's locked together, and then continue across. And that's all there is to it. It's a really fun way to play around with color work. It's different from stranded color work, but I actually find it to be a lot of fun because it's kind of like puzzle pieces coming together. It's also a really great opportunity to play around with your own designs. I mean, I made this chart from one that already existed, but it's also a good time to see if you can come up with a design of your own that you'd like to incorporate into your work. So that's beginning Intarsia, and I hope that helped.